नमस्कार, मैं हूं राजनंदनी शर्मा और आप देख रहे हैं वीकली राउंडअप। वीकली राउंडअप पे हम हर हफ्ते बात करते हैं क्या कुछ इवेंट्स हुए, प्रोग्राम्स हुए, क्या हलचल है भारतीयों की यूके के अंदर, इंडियन डायस्पोरा में क्या न्यूज़ चल रही है, उन सब की चर्चा हम वीकली राउंडअप में करते आए हैं। और इस हफ्ते भी मैं आपके लिए एक न्यूज़ और एक इवेंट लेकर आई हूँ। आइए शुरू करते हैं बिना देरी के। सबसे पहले मैं आपको न्यूज़ बताना चाहूँगी। सत्यम सुराना एक स्टूडेंट है जो लंदन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ते हैं। हाल ही में उन्होंने एसईओ इलेक्शंस कंटेस्ट किए हैं। उस इलेक्शन के दौरान उन्होंने ये बताया कि उनके साथ हरासमेंट हुआ है और उनके टुवर्ड्स एक हेट कैंपेन भी की गई इस इलेक्शन के दौरान। क्या कुछ उनका कहना है, क्या उन्होंने एक्सपीरियंस किया, वो इस बारे में क्या फील करते हैं, आइए उन्हीं से सुनते हैं।
To tell you exactly what happened was, I was running for the position of General Secretary for the LSE Students Union. The campaigning started on 11th of March. The voting was scheduled on 18th and 19th of March. And suddenly on 15th of March, we realized that some of my posters had been defaced. There were cross marks over my face and content like anybody but Satyam was written all over my face. It was at that time I realized that this is a targeted hate campaign against me, and somebody is particularly targeting me to spread hate and to not want me to win the elections. Then suddenly a day before voting, that is around 12 to 15 hours before voting on 17th of March, that is a Sunday, we realized that there are random messages on all the LSE groups in which students are members of. These messages claimed me and framed me to be an Islamophobe, to be a transphobe, to be a queerphobe, to be a radical nationalist, to be a fascist person, and all sorts of hateful words were spread against me. And I was somewhere associated with the current ruling party in India, that is the Bharatiya Janata Party. And for this purpose, these people used some of my tweets, they distorted my tweets, and they framed it in some way that I was associated with the Bhajpa. But all of these tweets of mine had appreciation of the current government. I have always been an admirer of the current ruling Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And these tweets somewhere ignited in and incited this hate campaign to spread hate against me. I think this has got zero thing to do with my career. This was entirely a politically motivated stunt by the anti-India and the anti-BJP elements and the anti-Hindu elements that were present on campus here. And I don't think this would have any sort of impact on my career. And these people have given me what they did not want me to have. That is, these people have highlighted what wrong these people are doing in the name of free speech and how they can victimize a person and how they can how they can trouble a person for with their hate speech. So personally for me, it has been a very tough time. It has been indeed challenging for me. The entire campaigning week, we invested all our efforts. My campaigning team with me, all of us had worked day and night hard for this election. But ultimately, when just a day before voting, when such messages come, it definitely weakens and shakens the morale of the campaigning team as well as me as a candidate. I was harassed personally on calls. I was harassed in my Facebook comments, in my Instagram comments. I was called all sorts of slurred words. It did definitely have an impact on my mental health. And I was a victim of the hate campaign that was run by these radical elements against me, against India, and it did hamper my identity. To face people after these hate messages were forwarded was indeed difficult for me, but somewhere at the back of the mind I had to cope with all such hate crime, and I had to keep moving forward because I was already in the race for elections. I could not let this hate campaign affect my focus of my campaigning drive thing. I believe that this entire thing was not only a particular hate campaign against me, but this entire thing was a well planned smear campaign by all those elements who have always spoken against India, be it the radical separatist movements, be it the anti India movements, be it the anti establishment movements from India, be it the political opposition in India, or be it the ideological left winger opposition for the Indian government. So all these elements have systematically planned this hate campaign against me. I say this because the messages that were forwarded in order to incite hate against me included content such as India is occupying Kashmir. Now I don't understand the logic wherein how the question of Kashmir and the territorial integrity of India and India's claim on Kashmir should come into picture for a student union election in UK. I am a person who has admired the Prime Minister. So this clearly gives an image that in order to hamper somebody's association with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, they have to post content that is totally derogatory, defamatory and seditious for the Indian establishment, that is totally anti-India. So I look on to this thing as a very anti-India sentimental thing. This thing was not a particular hate campaign against Satyam Surana. This thing was a hate campaign against an Indian, a proud Indian who believes in his current leadership. And this thing was a hate campaign against the current leadership and somewhere to deviate the focus of the international community and taint and malign the image of the progressing India that is happening all around. I think these people are beyond any treatment. The anti-India elements, the political opposition in India have always resorted to cheap publicity, to means for cheap publicity. We have always seen people and political leaders from India going on in foreign nations and defaming the Indian government and defaming, just for the sake of defaming the Indian government, you go on to defame the Indian values, Indian culture and the Indian sovereignty. So I think there cannot be no medicine to this. I have already raised an issue with the Union Home Minister and the External Affairs Minister. I have demanded an NIA inquiry because these messages were totally seditious and contemptuous for the territorial sovereignty and integrity of India. These messages contained sympathizing with the radical separatist movements for which I have been associated with to speak against in the past. And these messages were highly a threat to the national security. And for the same reason, I have raised an issue with the Union Ministry of Home Affairs to initiate an NIA inquiry. And I believe that if at all this is associated, I will do my best to expose this entire syndicate. And it is essential to reach the top of the pyramid and to identify who is governing, who is mentoring all these people, and then to take appropriate action against it. Only then I think these people and these issues will be resolved, and then no other Indian would have to face any such hate campaign like I faced in my election campaigning. Thank you.
बढ़ते हैं आगे। तो जो इवेंट की मैं बात कर रही थी वो इवेंट है रामपुर रजा मिस्ट्री का बुक लॉन्च। मंजरी प्रभु रामपुर रजा मिस्ट्री जो बुक है उसकी ऑथर है। वो कल नेहरू सेंटर लंदन में आई थी और वहां पर यूके में इस बुक को लॉन्च किया गया। इंडिया में ये बुक ऑलरेडी लॉन्च हो चुकी है पिछले साल और इस बुक को लॉन्च किया गया प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया द्रौपदी मुर्मू ने। साथ ही साथ बता दूं कि यूके में कल इसका नेहरू सेंटर में बुक लॉन्च किया गया और मंजरी प्रभु से काफी सारे सवाल किए गए, काफी बात हुई इस पूरी बुक के बारे में। आइए उनसे सुनते हैं उन्होंने क्या कुछ कहा और कैसा रहा पूरा इवेंट।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nehru Center. The Nehru Center is privileged to host book launch of Dr. Manjari Prabhu, The Rampur Raza Mystery. Dr. Manjari holds a doctorate in communication science and is an award-winning author, independent filmmaker for television. She has directed over 200 children's TV programs and more than 50 short fiction and travel films. Her unpublished psychological thriller novel was adapted into a Hindi feature film by NFDC titled Kuch Dil Ne Kaha. Her PhD thesis converted into a book titled Roles, Reel and Reel has become a rare reference book for students of Hindi cinema. Dr. Prabhu has been acknowledged as a pioneer in India among women writers of mystery fiction, and she has a diverse global fan following. She is also the first female mystery author to be published outside India. She has been on the literary horizon for more than 3 decades. She is also the curator, director of 2 international festivals, Pune International Literary Festival and International Festival of Spiritual India.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to today's event, and before we begin, there's a small AV on the author, that's me, and then after that is a teaser on the book, after which we will launch the book and then the conversation will begin. So I think first we'll see 2 AVs. is all this whole culture, the culture there, for a moment I wondered, am I the right person to write this book? Because I wasn't at all used to it. But it was when I went there and I saw several things. For example, the most important thing is that palace, which is the Hamid Manzil, where the library is now situated, was built in 1905. It was commissioned by a Nawab. The architect was a French architect in a British Raj in Rampur, where the population was mostly Hindu. Now when you look at this, you realize that the Nawabs then were so inclusive. They wanted to give the Hindus a status. And how did they do this? Of course, all of this is there, but there are 8 minarets there. So if you saw the teaser, you must have seen the towers, right? Now those towers are not ordinary towers. They are built very differently. So they are actually broken up into sections. The bottom section is a masjid. The one above that is a gurudwara. No, is a church. No, sorry, is it a gurudwara or church? Either of the two. I think it's a church. Then there is another section which is the gurudwara, and on the top of the minaret is a temple. Now this is the most fascinating part. How more can you be inclusive? How more can you signify coexistence, harmony? So when I went there, I realized that this is much larger than what I imagined.
Also, this can only happen in India, of course, we know that. And also, while talking about your characters, like Sarika Sardesai is your protagonist, the detective protagonist, Sessi. And then there are the characters in Rampur, Shaukat Mia, which I loved. They are all very intelligent people, they're very efficient people. Like most of the thrillers that are published in India, all the stories are somehow inspired by Western thrillers. And they retain that kind of flavor. While reading your story, I realized it is a very Indian story in terms of its characters, in terms of their milieu, their cultural milieu. How did that happen? For example, when you were writing about Shaukat Mia and the other characters of Rampur, like you said, you were born and brought up in Maharashtra, which is a completely different part of India. And also cosmopolitan, while Rampur is a small town in North India with a different cultural aspect to it. What was the preparation that went behind it?
Lots of preparation. I had to unlearn a lot of things and then learn a lot of things. So I approached it in 2 ways. This kind of a book on a library which was so iconic deserved to be represented in a very 360-degree angle. So first of course the people who are actually working there, who helped me write the book, and the way they interacted and the way they explained all the manuscripts to me. Because I come from an arts background. I'm not a historian. I don't understand art in the sense, or I don't read Persian. So all those miniatures and everything had to be explained to me, which was I would say very exciting, but quite puzzling to me. And Ray Parker. I think he's just gorgeous, the way he thinks and the way he's sensitive and the way he solves the cases. So I did create a very good male character too.
Thank you for that. And I want to tell everyone that she is coming directly from Oxford, where she was a speaker at the Oxford Literary Festival. And she was launching a book, her new book, which is not this book, okay? So, which also means that she has launched 2 different books in a single week. So she's writing a lot. How is this happening, Manjari? Like 2 books releasing in a week, 2 book launches in a week in the UK. Tell us, how is this process? How much do you write?
Let me put it this way, that I don't write the books happen to me. I'm chosen. I'm the chosen one, honestly. And I'll tell you why I believe in this is because I feel that like you have dust particles in the air, there are these idea particles everywhere around which are looking for a fertile alignment, a magnetic field to be aligned. And I think but they may not be necessarily this year. They could be 2 years from now. So I work backwards. And I make it a point to enjoy my writing.
And you write every day?
No, I don't. I do lots of other things. But when I start writing, I write continuously for months. It could be a month, it could be 2 months. But I make sure that I enjoy it because writing for me is a passion. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't have anything to tell. So once the idea captures me, I follow this golden rule. I don't chase the ideas chase me first, and then I chase the idea. So that's it, and I always believe in the creative process. I have full faith in it. I don't start writing and I feel, good God knows if I'm going to complete this book. I never feel that. I feel I'm the chosen one now, and this book will be finished, and it will find a publisher, and it will find a reader. I think this faith in my journey is what helps me to write book after book.
20 books. And do you ever get tired of writing or face writer's block?
Lots of times. But like I said, I
What
have
do you do
faith.
then?
I still continue. No, I do kind of step back a bit when I have writer's block. But I have faith that I will complete the book. Touch wood, my muse is with me, and I think I'll go on writing.
Okay, 20 books, 2 books in a week, but that's not all. You are also the curator and founder of 2 international lit fest in Pune. I've been a part of one literature festival, which is PILF, Pune International Literature Festival, and the other one is International Festival of Spiritual India. Tell us more about it, and when do you get time to plan about those things? Because it is a full-time thing to plan a literature festival, and that too in India. It's an elaborate process.
Yeah, so basically 2013, I think PILF started in 2013. It was a natural, how should I say, I became a festival director very naturally. For the simple reason that one of the reasons was that I realized when I looked around India, there were many lit fests, but I wasn't being invited to any.
And Sharma sir is there and the entire team of Nehru Center. Thank you so much. Bahut shukriya for this wonderful evening. This is my first live conversation at the Nehru Center, like I was telling Sharma sir, and I would like to come here again and again and again, and may this go on, and may your writing go on and on, Dr. Manjari, because this is a lovely book, and I think everyone present here should get a copy of it, either a physical copy, and it is a Kindle version is also available. And thank you so much once again, and
Thank you, Yasir Usman. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nehru Center, for hosting this. It's my first physical one. I did another online one, but it's such a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
आज के वीकली राउंडअप में बस इतना ही। हर हफ्ते की तरह अगले हफ्ते भी हम फिर मिलेंगे, और वीकली राउंडअप में जैसे हम इवेंट्स, प्रोग्राम्स और न्यूज़ बताते हैं, वो हर हफ्ते बताते हैं और अगले हफ्ते भी बताएंगे। तब तक के लिए बने रहिए एमए टीवी के साथ, बिकॉज इट्स योर चैनल ऑफ चॉइस।